as a low pressure system leaves the area. Then mostly sunny skies for the rest of the day with a high of 89 degrees. Tuesday night, mostly clear with a low at 74. Going into Wednesday, we're going to see lots of sunshine with a high of 97 and a heat index value of 102 degrees. Thursday, showers and thunderstorms in the early morning, then sunny skies with a high of 88. Friday will be sunny as well. We'll see a high around 80. For the weekend, Saturday, lots of sunshine with a high of 74, and Sunday, sunny with a high of 79. I'm meteorologist Amanda Edwards with the WSGW Weatherology Forecast. Currently 65.
Now, the only local radio talk show offering you the chance to ask your questions and express your opinions from around your block to around the world. The Art Lewis Show is on 100.5 and 790 WSGW and online, WSGW.com.
Well, the time is 9:11. It's WSGW. Art Lewis Show, but not with Art Lewis today because Art is taking some time off today. Art has a special appearance he's making along with Dave Maurer at the Rescue Ministries of Michigan, a special golf outing, and we wish them well. It's nice to have the Rescue Ministries having a chance to do some fundraising to keep the doors open, and we are so pleased to be part of that with the appearance from Dave and Art. In the meantime, Charlie Rude here, and we are going to have a special conversation for the first part of this 9 o'clock hour, as we are going to find out about the Michigan Pet Alliance. There's things going on with the Michigan Pet Alliance that you need to know about. We want to do that. We have some special guests. And technology being what it is, we have guests that we do have on camera. If you're on our Facebook page or other devices that we do offer it up, we are saying good morning to both the chairperson of the Michigan Pet Alliance, Deborah Schutt, and the CEO, Joe Dobesh. Deborah Schutt, first of all, did I get that name correct?
That would be good. Yeah, Schutt.
Schutt, good morning. And Joe Dobesh, is that correct, Joe?
That is, Charlie. Thanks for having us.
Hey, thanks for joining us. Thanks for being out with us this morning. Let's first of all start. Who wants to tackle if I were to ask? So the overview, what is the Michigan Pet Alliance?
You're not going to choose one of us?
I thought you could do rock, paper, scissors if you want. Joe, tell you what, Joe, you're the CEO. What is the Michigan Pet Alliance?
Well, Charlie, we are the state's trade association for the animal shelters, rescues, and their supporters. The times have never been harder. I just talked to a shelter director in our state who has been doing this for 30 years, and she said she has never seen times this challenging. We have a population crisis in our shelters. It's the time for our trade, our organizations, all of us in animal welfare to get together and try to do something about tackling the underlying causes that are, well, frankly, leading perfectly healthy animals to be euthanized just for space.
And if I were to ask then what brought us to this point where it is the times that we are today, Joe, what would you say?
Well, there's no easy answers. One, certainly the easiest one you can point to, though, is the lack of, not a lot of spays and neuters were getting done during coronavirus. A lot of veterinarian offices, it just wasn't getting done. It wasn't available. And so now we're seeing the effects of that. There's more animals coming into shelters. And if your listeners take one thing away today, please don't shop, adopt. We have animals in our Michigan shelters that need a home. And so if you're in the market, don't shop, adopt.
Where does the Michigan Pet Alliance have a home base? I guess, should I say, where does the organization organize, I guess?
Well, that's the best part, Charlie. We are a statewide organization, so we are all across the state. We are totally remote, and that gives us a profound advantage. We have directors from Ann Arbor. We have directors from the UP, so we're really able to be truly statewide.
how do I phrase this? Are you sought out for your help, I guess, from different organizations that you work with, or do you approach the organizations? How's the relationship work?
It all depends on the situation. In Bay County has an interesting, far from interesting. I'm going into my background a little bit. I'm a former prosecutor. The animal cruelty investigation with HABs and the correction officer charged with that animal abuse in Bay County. That animal was originally adopted out of one of our members' shelter, the Humane Society of Macomb. They asked us to get involved and work with them, and working with the prosecutor there to try to bring some justice in that situation. So our involvement all depends on what the immediate needs are. Just today, we've submitted testimony to the state house or the state Senate Judiciary Committee on forfeiture and restitution bills. And that's going to help animals that are held in our member animal shelters while their owner's case for abusing or neglecting them is pending trial. So it all depends on what the individual needs of our members are.
Deborah Schutt, again, you're the chairperson of Michigan Pet Alliance. Let's bring in you here. And so what role do you play when it comes to your involvement in the Michigan Pet Alliance?
Probably a lot of hands-on. Joe will probably tell you. It might help to have a little history. We started out as the Michigan Pet Fund Alliance. Actually, we were established in 2003. And our goal then was to make Michigan a no-kill state for shelters in Michigan. And in 2018, we achieved that goal. Rule of thumb is if you're saving 90% or better of the animals in the shelter, then you are considered no-kill. And in the state of Michigan, 2018, we achieved that goal. And that was the purpose of the not-for-profit that we had formed. We had done a lot of work. The shelters did a lot of work. We reached our goal, and then we said, now what? Do we go away or what? But one of the things we noticed along our way is that there wasn't anyone representing all the shelters in the state. There were challenges. Most people don't understand that our shelters are under a law that was written in 1919. And just thinking of your own households and your pet, can you imagine what it was like for pets in 1919 versus 2022? So we knew that there was a lot of work that still needed to be done. And 1 year ago, a little over a year ago, we transitioned the Michigan Pet Fund Alliance to the Michigan Pet Alliance, a membership organization, and then put together committees, membership, you name it, to go forward on all those items that need to be tackled.
You make a reference to what's happening here in the state. Is there a nationwide organization too that you work with? Is there any other states that you partner up with or work with, or is there any relationship of that kind?
We certainly work with some of the national organizations, whether it be Best Friends or the Humane Society of the United States or any of those larger ones. One of the interesting things, Charlie, is because, animals have not, of course, had the priority that many other professions have had. And so there is not like a membership organization like there would be, like if you were a CPA, you might be a professional organization in the state and then be one at the national organization. There isn't one like that. So we're a little different in that regard, but we certainly collaborate with national partners, local partners, you name it. There's strength in numbers.
We're talking this morning about the Michigan Pet Alliance. We're going to take a break and come back with more conversation in just a moment. Our guest is the CEO, Joe Dobesh, and the chairperson of the Michigan Pet Alliance, Deborah Schutt. including coming up, finding out about opportunities that might be for those who are within the organizations that do partner or seek help of some special grants and awards. And we want to talk about that and find out what that's all about. And we'll do so. Coming up, it's Charlie in for Art this morning on the Art Lewis Show here on WSGW at 9:21.
What's the most important part of a retirement plan?
Income is king because we all need income. And if you don't have an income plan, you don't have a retirement plan.
That's Kevin Ray, financial coach at Insight Folios. Kevin tells his listeners every week about the importance of income planning, minimizing taxes, and strategies to lead a worry-free retirement. Learn all about that and get your own complimentary financial review by calling 888-885-PLAN. That's 888-885-7526.
If you owe the IRS back taxes, then get ready to pay up. The IRS has giant private collection agencies actively tracking down folks who owe the IRS. So if you think dodging them was stressful in the past, it's going to get a whole lot tougher. Optima Tax Relief has this advice. Don't wait. Solve your tax problems now before it's too late. Optima Tax Relief works to stop the demand letters, stop the aggressive collection actions, and stop the IRS collectors from targeting you. Ask Optima about the Fresh Start Initiative, one of the biggest breaks the IRS has ever offered. If you qualify, you could save thousands, and nobody knows this program better than they do. Optima is A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, and they get results, having resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. Get a fresh start. Call today for your free consultation.
Call 800-364-9188. 800-364-9188. 800-364-9188.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
I'm Elizabeth McDonald, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Prices at the wholesale level are still rising, but not at the dramatic pace of earlier this year. The producer price index rose 0.8% in May, up 0.5 excluding food and energy. And for the year ending in May, the PPI rose 10.8%. It's an improvement over inflation of more than 11%, though inflation at the wholesale level remains the highest in 40 years. Most of the increase is attributed to higher gas prices, though the cost of steel, chicken, transportation, autos, and parts also rose. Coinbase Global, the crypto exchange, says it is eliminating 18% of its workforce because of volatile market conditions. That translates to about 1,100 jobs. Coinbase says it's part of its restructuring. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Ginny Cosolda, invested in you.
The economy is heading for a total disaster. The Fed must choose between a stock market and housing market crash or hyperinflation. Hi, this is Stephen K. Bannon, and I urge you to diversify your retirement savings into physical gold today. To help you get started, my friends at Birch Gold have created a free information kit on gold IRAs. To get your free copy, just text SHELTER to 989898. There's no obligation or purchase required. Again, that's SHELTER to 989898.
Meet Boost, the fizzing amazing vitamin boosts that turn your H2O into H2O, so you feel like
I like to boost it, my vitamins can boost it. I like to boost it, we like to boost it.
Because it's not just vitamins, it's Boost, the fizzing amazing vitamin boost.
Find Boost, the vitamin boosts, at Walmart or Walmart.com and give yourself a boost with Boost.
So sticky.
At Hannah's Organic Honey, business may be sweet, but they need an e-commerce queen bee to lead the hive.
Okay, these jars are going to Jakarta. Oh, wait a minute. Does that say Jackson?
Indeed can help them hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Earn up to $500 in sponsored job credits by interviewing on Indeed. Visit Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
Strike called, fastball on the outer edge. 1-2-3, 96 mile-an-hour fastball. Second strikeout for Tarek Skubal.
The Tigers play 6:50 tonight on 790 News Radio WSGW.
Welcome back on the Art Lewis Show on WSGW. Again, Charlie for Art this morning. Art and Dave both participating in a fundraising golf outing for the Rescue Ministries of Mid-Michigan. It's 9:25. We're talking about the Michigan Pet Alliance this morning with our guests, the CEO, it's Joe Dobesh, and Deborah Schutt, the chairperson. Let's pick up in our conversation. Deborah, let's continue with you for a moment, if we can, and talk about what's coming up for opportunities for those who are interested in applying for some of the grants and awards with the Michigan Pet Alliance. First of all, let me ask you about this. If I'm understanding correctly, you have a theme. The theme is the new normal. Can you explain the basis of the theme, Deborah?
If there is such a thing, right?
Yeah.
Well, certainly you can appreciate with what we've gone through the last couple of years that it has had some real challenges for Michigan animal shelters and rescues. They depended on fundraising that are people in person, and they depended on people coming into the shelter to adopt. So many were closed. And so it's an especially challenging time. And I don't think that most people realize that shelters have been traditionally underfunded in this state since day one. So if you've got a struggling organization that goes through 2 years that's almost, locked down or people can't coming in, but the one wonderful thing is not only do we have passionate, dedicated people who love animals that run shelters and rescue organizations, we also have creative ones. And so they had to, in this time that's been so challenging, how do we get the animals in homes? How do we raise money so that we continue? How do we do something very different when the rug's been pulled out from under us? And so this year, when we're looking at awards, and that's what we're talking about, I think, is grants and awards, our program is the new normal. What did you have to do to make it work anyway? How did you get those animals out of the shelter? How did you get them into new homes? How did you operate when you had nothing before that you could rely on? And including fundraising, for goodness sakes, when you have fundraisers where you invite people to something and all of a sudden you can't do that, how do you put money in the coffers? So we have, our program this year is the new normal. How have you done all those things and still been successful? And we have new normal creative programs. We have fundraising. So we're going to recognize applications that come in that are the best in the state. And we will award with a plaque, but more importantly, we'll award with money, those that are outstanding. And then the nice thing is that we can share them with other shelters and rescues who go, geez, never thought of that. Let's give it a try in our area of the state. So we are in the 2022 awards and grant program, and we're looking for applications from shelters and rescues. And, in your listening audience, we have had winners in the past. Certainly in 2013, we had the Humane Society of Midland County, who won a outstanding shelter performance award. And in 2019, this is not listed on the awards because this is actually one that the board chooses. But Jim Barsha, the county executive of Bay County, was awarded a recognition for the Friend of Homeless Animals, as we do recognize those people because there are singular people that turn things around. And in that instance, Jim did. He committed to no kill, and he changed his shelter from having a 66 live release rate, 66%, to a 96% live release rate. So we want to recognize those people who have made a huge difference too.
And we'll talk more about the application and how that goes too. But Joe, let me go back to you for just a moment. Again, the CEO of the Michigan Pet Alliance. So if the Michigan Pet Alliance is doing these awards, that must mean you have money to grant an award. How do you do what you need to do when it comes to running your organization and being able to provide these opportunities? Where does that funding come from?
Absolutely. Well, the funding for this program, for the grants and awards program, was generously provided by the Humane Society of Macomb Foundation. So we couldn't be more thankful for them in assisting us and being able to promote these best practices in Michigan shelters and rescues. So big thank you to them.
And then for an overall basis, do you do your own fundraising for your operation and make sure that you can have the relationships that you do?
Absolutely. We're seeking out grants ourselves regularly. We are a membership-based organization. Your listeners can join MichiganPet.org and shelters and rescues across the state. So we are a trade association funded by our members, and what other resources we can find.
And I'm assuming that there's probably some opportunities for volunteers too to do some work with your organization.
Absolutely, Charlie. We're always in need of help. This is a mission that requires all hands on deck.
And the same online site you mentioned, MichiganPet.org. Is that right?
MichiganPet.org. That's right, Charlie.
All right. So let me then, Deborah, go back to you again, the chairperson for the grants and awards you're talking about. What is the application process? Who is there specific organizations you're looking for, specific people, or anyone that has that pet relationship?
We're actually looking for shelters and rescue organizations to submit applications. Anybody can send us an email if they think there is a political individual out there that has done yeoman work in this field. We will certainly take suggestions with that. The application is on the website, which you've already mentioned. And the one thing that's really nice is our application is incredibly simple. It literally is, you fill in the blank of who you are and contact, that kind of thing. And then it is a couple of paragraphs of telling us about the program that you're submitting. So it's not one of these, 20-page applications. It literally is 2 pages, and creative description is 5 paragraphs. So it's an easy application.
Is there a deadline? What is the parameters as far as when you're going to make the awards, what the deadline is, when the decisions will be made, I guess?
The deadline is the last day of this month, literally, 11:59 p.m. So the end of June, get it in before then. And then in July, we actually have an independent committee, and they will receive the applications, but they will only receive the descriptions of the programs. So they will not know who submitted the application, and they will individually, the 5 people will individually fill out a form that has different questions on it for them. They'll rank the submissions. Then they'll get together as a committee and discuss them and make a recommendation to the board. So in August, we should have a recommendation to the Michigan Pet Alliance Board and make a selection of the winners for the applications and the grants.
Would that also come then in August that an announcement would make, or at what point?
Yep. I would think in August, you're going to get another media release that says these are the winners.
All right. Again, and all this is done at MichiganPet.org, MichiganPet.org. In the final moment we have here, Joan, let me go back to you and ask, so this is where we are in 2022. Going forward, do you have aspirations of where you think your Michigan Pet Alliance is going to be in 2023, 4, 5, and beyond? Obviously, continue to do what you're doing, building bigger, better, stronger, faster.
Absolutely, Charlie. Absolutely. We have so many important pieces of legislation in the works right now. One of particular note that your listeners can get involved with, HB 4912, protecting veterinary telehealth services. That bill's in the state Senate right now. If they can reach out, call their state senator and tell them this is a bill we would love to see get a vote. We saw what good veterinary telehealth services can do, getting access of care for people who maybe live in rural areas or lack reliable transportation, and protecting that service that saved so many lives during COVID. We want to make sure that stays around for the long term.
All right. So awards, grants, the application process is on now. The opportunities to volunteer, find ways that you can financially support as well, get involved, all being done, michiganpet.org. I'm sure that you have Facebook as well, that you're probably doing other social media.
Absolutely, Charlie.
Find it all. All right. Deborah Schutt, the chairperson of the Michigan Pet Alliance, Joe Dobesh, the CEO. We appreciate your time this morning. We wish you well into the future.
Thank you so much, Charlie.
Thank you again for your time. On the WSW Art Lewis Show and the Michigan Pet Alliance, michiganpet.org, michiganpet.org to find out more. We're going to take a break and continue on the Art Lewis Show coming up in just a moment on WSGW.
As golfers, we want more distance, more accuracy, more birdies, pars, and one putts. What if I told you that you can get all of that and more for less during your next golf getaway? Now with 90 holes of golf at one resort, Shanty Creek Resort is bigger and better. Discover a new golf mecca in Bel Air with all the more you need. Variety, quality, and quantity with customizable stay and play packages accommodating every group and budget. When you're ready for more, we'll be here to welcome you at Shanty Creek Resort in Bel Air and online at shantycreek.com. Warmer weather is here, and associates in eye care want you to remember to wear sunglasses with UV protection. Most of us acquire 80% of our lifetime UV exposure before 18, so it's extremely important for children to have sunglasses with UV protection. Ultraviolet rays have harmful effects on the eyes that can lead to cataracts and macular degeneration. To make an appointment with Dr. Cox, Dr. Kazmarek, or Dr. Engel at their Saginaw or Hemlock locations, call 792-8686. Associates in eye care, caring for our patients as we would want to be treated.
I always wanted to learn Spanish, but I never thought I'd have the time. Then I discovered Babbel.
Babbel's lessons are fun. They only take like 10 or 15 minutes, and in 3 weeks, presto, you're speaking another language. Like magic.
I love that Babbel's lessons aren't just robots talking. They're voiced by native speakers, so you get the pronunciation just right. And they're designed by real language teachers, so you learn how to have real-world conversations, things you'll actually use.
3 weeks. It's incredible. After 3 weeks, I'm on vacation in Paris, having a conversation in French.
There's all kinds of ways to learn. Use Babbel's podcasts or games or videos. You can even join live classes with a language teacher.
If you want to learn a language, there's no faster, easier, better way than
Babbel.
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 Babbel. Évidemment.
Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
Thanks, everyone, for baking your way here on this toasty morning. Are you all ready to jam? Excellent. Before we get rolling, let's start by hashing out everything bagel will be discussing. Profit margins are okay, but they could maybe be butter. Sorry, I don't mean to waffle. Next quarter, it's all or muffin. Did you have a question, Sausage Patty?
My name's Patricia.
When you can't take your mind off breakfast, it matters where you stay. Delicious breakfast available at our Hilton family of brands. Hilton, for the stay.
Do you feel like you're making mistakes with your money? Secure your finances today with a certified financial planner from Facet Wealth. Your money goes further and works harder with the help of an expert. Financial planning used to focus on retirement, but Facet helps you with today. You get a dedicated financial planner, and they guide you through every financial decision. Inflation, interest rates, stock market changes, home prices. How do you figure it all out? Well, every advisor at Facet is a certified financial planner and fiduciary. That's just a fancy way to say they have the best training, and they're legally bound to do what's in your best interest. This isn't just about investments. It's about taking care of your money so you can start living a better life today. Facet has a simple flat fee. There's no hidden charges. And with nothing to sell, there are no commissions. Visit tryfacetwealth.com for 2 months free off your first year of financial planning. That's TRYFACET wealth.com. Facet Wealth is an SEC registered investment advisor. This is not an offer to buy or sell securities, nor is it investment, legal, or tax advice.
Tracy, line 1 is looking for a quote on a mini split.
Crazy spring temperatures are heating up DeWyatt HVAC phone lines.
Next week we're booked solid.
If they don't find more technicians, they'll be in hot water.
How are we down 3 technicians in the past 3 weeks?
Indeed can help them hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Earn up to $500 in sponsored job credits by interviewing on Indeed. Visit Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
The WSGW Broadcasting Studios are sponsored by the premier kitchen and bath gallery, showroom, and design center in Midland.
It's 9:41. It is the Art Lewis Show on WSGW. Charlie in for Art this morning. Art and Dave both off in that special golf outing for the Rescue Ministries of Mid-Michigan, special fundraiser. We thank you for joining this morning. Again, thanks to our guests from the Michigan Pet Alliance we had in the first half of this hour. Deborah Schutt, the chairperson, Joe Dobesh, the CEO. MichiganPet.org, MichiganPet.org for more information. We still have our camera work going. I know that Art Lewis is always on camera. It's something we do from time to time. I'd be interested to know if you pay attention to what's going on camera, or you're just listening. Do you like the on-camera work that we offer? You know, radio is always a medium of the spoken word and the theater of the mind, as they would say. This offers up a chance to sometimes get a little insight of what we do on air, of what we're actually doing in studio. As you can see, the studio set up and us on camera. We talk about this on the morning team show that we host, that we have for the on-air and online opportunity at WSTW.com, when we give you a chance to see some of the pictures that we talk about and links to some of the stories that we have. So it's not just the on-air descriptions that we offer anymore. It's also the chance to do the visual, as the ever-changing world of radio still continues to be radio, as it is the spoken word, if you will, but accompanies now things that can happen with the pictures. Not going to call it TV, I can tell you that, even though in some aspects perhaps you think it is, but that's a whole nother world that I'm not ready to get into. I'm in radio for a reason. As they say, face made for radio. 989-752-6111, 989-752-6111. We're going open line now for the rest of this hour and into next hour. Anything on your mind you want to talk about, we'll certainly take your phone calls. Thanks to Jonathan, by the way, for helping set up things here with some of the work we're doing in studio. And as to always, Mike Percha for helping out with guests and some of the work that goes on behind the scenes. This is Flag Day 2022. Hopefully you're flying your stars and stripes, as this is the opportunity to remember 1777, when the Continental Congress adopted the stars and stripes, the red and white stripes, and the field of blue with a star for each state. That would be the official flag of these United States. There are many theories of the first flag, of who actually produced it. You can go with the legendary Betsy Ross version. There are others. I'll let you determine that and decide which one you would like to use as your basis. But whatever the basis is, it is Flag Day 2022. Again, dating back to this date, 1777. And we also honor those from the U.S. Army, one of our armed services that has a birth date today. 1775, when the Continental Army was formed, the forerunner of what we know now as the U.S. Army. So happy birthday, and we salute all those members of the Army. Let's take a call here. Looks like Jack is calling in out of Mount Pleasant. So, Jack, we'll give you time on the Art Lewis Show this morning on WSW. Jack, thanks for holding on. Good morning to you, sir.
Hey, good morning. How you doing?
Doing okay, thanks. What's on your mind?
Oh, a couple things. It's nice to see the Tigers winning, so that's good.
From time to time, they get that victory.
Yep. Yeah. On another note, you know, I know it's hard on people right now, gas prices, all this inflation and stuff like that. But I think this is actually a good thing. You know, if we invert that and think about it, Americans have had things good for so long, right? We haven't seen this type of inflation in a long time, and you can all debate how it came about. But the bottom line is we got it. And I think what people can get out of this is things aren't always perfect. And things aren't always safe, and you have to prepare for the future. And maybe this becomes the harbinger in a different way. Like my grandparents came out of the Depression, and they learned things from that, right? And they saved every little thing. They'd never throw anything out because you just couldn't find material goods back then. People didn't have money, and it was a different thing. It was deflation. Maybe what people here will learn now is there's decisions they make Maybe it's votes they take. Maybe it's savings, right? Or maybe it's a work ethic and saving for the future and being prepared that things can go bad. We always come out of this stronger. That's all I got.
No, that's, I'm glad you said that. I was thinking the same thing, you know, for all the things that we've ever run through as a country. Eventually we do, I would say, and agree with what you just said, Jack. Yeah, we come out stronger. Sometimes it takes a little longer than we wish, but we always seem to come out that way.
Yeah. That's all I got.
No, appreciate that. It's good perspective, Jack. Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.
Lessons learned sometimes. No, nobody wants to go through times that are tough, difficult, but they're always there. You know, even when times are great, you know, at an overall basis, you might say things are going really well for the country. That's the overall umbrella that you'd use to describe things, I suppose. But for a lot of people individually, there are always tough times going on. And there are still many people who are doing very well, prospering, and are not finding difficulties because of whatever their lifestyle may be or their where they are in their lives, and that's good. A lot of people, of course, are finding some of the difficulties with the inflation, certainly the high gas prices and things like that. But yeah, tough lessons sometimes you have to live through to get stronger and to continue to build into what the future is going to be, whatever that future is going to be. A lot of us will be around, know what that future is and how we do come out of this strengthened. And we'll look back at this time and, remember it as a time in history that we dealt with a bump. Sometimes it takes several years. Sometimes it might take longer than that, not just as the country, but as you individually. Because let's face it, we're all, we're a country made up of individuals collectively as a country. And it's always going to be different from the perspective that a person shares for themselves as well as their family and their friends. It's 9:47 on WSGW. I think it's one of the things we all know. Maybe sometimes we just need to be reminded. We'll take a break and come back with more, including your phone calls too, again, up till 10 o'clock going open line here on WSGW, 989-752-6111. It's 989-752-6111.
This is Jason from Applied Training Solutions in the Midland Mall. We are the Midwest's premier self-defense academy. From our state-of-the-art digital firearm range to open-hand self-defense classes, we are building a safer community one student at a time. We offer concealed pistol license classes that combine both live fire and digital range training. Online at simurange.com and Facebook at ATS Midland. Applied Training Solutions, forward-thinking, on-target training.
Bill G. Schutt is prepared to be our next state representative. Bill was born and raised in mid-Michigan and graduated from local public schools. Bill served our country as an intelligence officer with the Defense Intelligence Agency in Mexico and the Middle East, working to help the fight against terrorists and Mexican drug cartels. He returned home to work for Dow. And now, Bill G. Schutt is running for state representative. With Biden inflation hitting us hard, Bill is fighting for lower taxes, so you have more money in your wallet. Bill is fighting for parents and their right to have a seat at the table in their children's education. And Bill G. Schutt is a conservative Republican, pro-life, pro-Second Amendment, and a strong supporter of law enforcement.
This is Bill G. Schutt. I've briefed generals at home and overseas. I can stand up for you in Lansing. I ask for your vote on August 2nd in the Republican primary.
Paid for by Bill G. Schutt for state representative.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
If you owe the IRS back taxes, then get ready to pay up. The IRS has giant private collection agencies actively tracking down folks who owe the IRS. So if you think dodging them was stressful in the past, it's going to get a whole lot tougher. Optima Tax Relief has this advice. Don't wait. Solve your tax problems now before it's too late. Optima Tax Relief works to stop the demand letters, stop the aggressive collection actions, and stop the IRS collectors from targeting you. Ask Optima about the Fresh Start Initiative, one of the biggest breaks the IRS has ever offered. If you qualify, you could save thousands, and nobody knows this program better than they do. Optima is A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, and they get results, having resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. Get a fresh start. Call today for your free consultation.
Call 800-364-9188. 800-364-9188. 800-364-9188.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Meet Bob Minetti. In 2016, he was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. Bob participated in a clinical trial that included cutting-edge radiation therapy and surgery. He's been in remission since completion. I'm Keisha Sharp. Since losing my mother to pancreatic cancer, I've been working to share the kind of state-of-the-art work being done by Stand Up to Cancer and Lust Garden Foundation. To learn more about the latest research, including clinical trials, visit pancreaticcancercollective.org.
On the next Markley Van Camp and Robbins show, you need to know January 6th was important.
No, I don't. I've already made up my mind.
You need to change your mind.
Well, I'm not going to.
Markley, Van Camp, and Robbins. Weekdays at noon on 100.5 and 790. News Radio WSGW.
At 9:52 WSGW, thank you for being on with your morning team, your Art Lewis show, I should say. Charlie and for Art this morning. Into the next hour, we'll do some more open phones for you. At 11 o'clock on Focus, I should tell you right now, we're going to have a special topic. We're going to talk with Dr. Robert Lee, board-certified dermatologist at McLaren Bay Region. Skin cancer is the topic, especially getting into the summer season. A lot of people pay more attention to it at that time than perhaps they do, even though they should throughout the rest of the year. But McLaren Bay Region is going to have a special free skin cancer screening event coming up. And we'll want to make sure that you're aware of that. But also overall, just finding out about skin cancer, what it's about, what you need to know, and what you can do to try and help prevent. So that's on the Focus show coming up at 11 o'clock. Terry Henney's Farm Show will be coming along too at 11:30. And Tigers baseball today at 6:50 on 790 News Radio WSGW. Some of the things that are happening program-wise. In the next hour, by the way, as much as it's going to be open line, I am going to mention this just to get your perspective as we continue to move forth. And perhaps because of the high gas prices and the talk of more of the push toward electric vehicles, at some point that's where it's going to be. I mean, car companies themselves talking about how that they're phasing out, making gasoline-powered engines and going to electric engines in the future. It's just a question of exactly when this is all going to take place and how quickly it's going to be years before you'd have all the vehicles on the roads now being electric. But the question still comes about the gas tax and how that could be applied to electric vehicles. And there's a proposal coming out, a legislator who has actually drafted legislation to phase in a vehicle tax for miles driven, especially for the EVs compared to how it's paid at the pump now against per gallon. And I want to maybe give you a little idea about what that's about and what you think it could be as meaning to the future. Some say that will be just the standard. It should be a standard change. Even the vehicles today by gas pump standards take the gas pump tax off and just make it for miles driven for everybody, regardless if it's an EV or not. So we'll get into that. Let's squeeze this call in before we have to take our final break and then make room at 9 or at 10 o'clock for news. Hey, Scott shouting in from Saginaw. What's going on, Scott? Good morning to you, sir.
Not too much. I got two quick ones real quick. I'll go on.
Yeah.
The first one is those 31 guys who were arrested there in the U-Haul truck. And I was starting to think about that going, well, I wonder where the FBI is going to be at in this one, since we kind of see that the FBI has been involved in a few other things lately. And then I thought about it. I said, well, there it is. The 911 call went into the local police, but yet within minutes, there was, a dozen or two FBI agents there with assault weapons, bulletproof vests on, with the camera crew pulling these guys over. So I'm kind of wondering, was this another setup of a bunch of people who weren't real bright? So I'm kind of thinking that this might have been another fake setup again from our FBI, just getting some guys. And then if anybody else on another one, if you're watching the hearings, watch William Barr's right hand as they're using his testimony. William Barr will have a pen in it, and then he won't. And then he'll have a pen in it, and then he won't. And so just watch clearly, because they're editing the crap out of this, making him say a bunch of things he never said. So people, pay attention. You're being duped with all this. The left is coming to get us. There's my conspiracy thought for the day.
All right, Scott, we appreciate your call.
All right, bye.
That'll take us into the break on WSGW. If you have a comment on that, well, I need you to hold it off until the next hour when we continue with more Open Line, and we'll continue on from there. On WSGW, Art Lewis Show, Charlie in for Art this morning.
We understand it's not often you decide to invest in new flooring or window treatments, but when you do, you deserve to take your time and take in all the options, styles, and colors available while sharing your ideas with someone who can help you with your decisions. Hi, this is Mary Ann from Warden Interiors of Frankenmuth, and that's what we've been doing for 16 years. We've been helping people make great decisions on new window treatments, paint, carpeting, and flooring, and with our own expert design team, we can turn your home into a showplace. Right now at Warden Interiors, we're making room for all the new merchandise, so you'll find unbelievable prices on carpet, vinyl, and laminate floors. Also, you can brighten up any room with one of the new lively colors of California ceramic paint, the toughest and most durable paint available. Or choose the elegance of new Hunter Douglas window treatments to enrich your home. We have it all, so come in and take your time. Let's sit down and talk about it. Warden Interiors on North Main Street in Frankenmuth will help you bring it all together.
Spring is here. Longer, warmer days, trees budding, perennial flowers blooming, and the return of our state bird, the robin. What we're not looking forward to is rain, flooding, thunderstorms, and of course, power outages. No one wants to be caught off guard with the sump pump problem during a heavy downpour. Reamer Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning can help you plan ahead to avoid a flooded basement. They sell and install primary electric pumps, as well as water and battery-powered backup pumps. Reamer Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning can also bring you back to normal from a wet basement with maintenance or replacement of a flooded water heater, furnace, or boiler. Trust the experts with your plumbing and heating mechanical needs in your home. You have a family doctor. Do you have a family plumber? Reamer Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning, 989-792-8738. Or find them on the web at reamerplumbing.com.
Any way you spell it, Reamer means quality.
You have the chance to win a $1,000 gift certificate to the business of your choice when you play the WSGW Spring Home Makeover Contest, presented by Rose Pest Solutions. To enter, visit WSGW.com. Scroll down the homepage and click on the contest box. That's when you choose the business you would use your $1,000 gift certificate if you are the winner. Businesses include Rose Pest Solutions, Premier Kitchen and Bath Gallery, RoofMax, Abley Greenhouse and Garden Center, Delta Door Sales, Crane's L&M Appliance, Begic Nursery and Garden Center, J&B Boots, United Financial Credit Union, Maple Hill Nursery, Hartel Heating and Cooling, Westside Decorating Center, Cluck Nursery, Designer's Touch, M&R Garage Door, Day Landscaping, Reamer Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning, Woolfiles Ace Hardware, the Spring Home Makeover Contest, presented by Rose Pest Solutions. Enter online, WSGW.com.
All right, got to get out of here on the Art Lewis Show for the 9 o'clock hour. Again, we'll get into the 10 o'clock hour and give you more chances for open phones and some other topics we'll bring forth on the WSGW radio here, which is now news time, the time being 10 o'clock.
From the Premier Kitchen and Bath Gallery Studios, WSGW, Saginaw, Bay City, Midland, WSGW FM. This is CBS News on the Hour, presented by Indeed.com.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. Stocks have edged up in early trading a day after the S&P slid into a bear market over fears of inflation and more interest rate increases from the Fed. What's ahead? Bankrate's Mark Hamrick.
Bear markets can last for months or years. There's no real way of knowing how long this one will last, but it's likely that as long as inflation is high or rising, and as long as the Federal Reserve is raising interest rates, stocks will be under pressure.
The Fed is expected to announce another increase tomorrow. The White House says President Biden will visit Saudi Arabia next month, where he will see Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, whom U.S. intelligence believes to be responsible for the death of American writer Jamal Khashoggi. Correspondent Nancy Cordes.
That is something that even some members of his own party have discouraged him from doing. They argue that the Crown Prince is a pariah. They say the president should stay as far away from him as possible.
This morning, lawmakers investigating the January 6th attack announced they'd postponed tomorrow's scheduled public hearing. They're blaming technical issues. No new date has been given. Officials in Milwaukee say an 11-year-old boy and two men who tried to save him are missing after they were swept away in a drainage ditch after severe thunderstorms and heavy rain. Assistant Fire Chief Dwayne Smoots.
The water was swift and it was deep, and they went into a tunnel. And in that tunnel, we have no idea what was going on in that tunnel.
A popular park in Montana is off limits today. CBS's Jim Krasula has the story.
Flooding has closed all entrances to Yellowstone National Park, even washing out bridges.
Those steel pylons, the bridge pylons, they're laying on the bank.
Heath Benson owns a trading post in hard-hit Nye, Montana.
It's something that you can't even dream about it because there's nobody that's ever seen this.
Lee Cooper was told to evacuate her home in Red Lodge, Montana.
We left with what we could have the presence of mind to gather up.
There's steamy weather ahead today from Louisiana north to Chicago. Meteorologist Craig Allen with our affiliate WCBS.
A large portion of the center of our nation will be enduring extreme heat over the next 2 to 3 days. Some of that heat will send temperatures up into the 90s to near 100 degrees from the northern border of the U.S. all the way on down towards the Gulf Coast.
Starting today, parents can block their kids' Instagram accounts and make them get permission before they download or buy things. Instagram's chief, Adam Mosseri, tells CBS Mornings.
We want to lead on teen safety online. And as a dad and as someone who's talked to a lot of experts around the world, we believe that parents know what's best for their children.
This is CBS News.
Need hires who dazzle without the hassle? You need Indeed. Their powerful platform helps you attract, interview, and hire candidates all in one place. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Join the Great Lakes Loons as we celebrate the Hispanic and Latino communities Friday night. It's the debut of the Loons' alternate identity, presented by MLive. Los Pepinillos Picante del Norte, the spicy pickles of the North. Courtesy of Isabella Bank, it's Feast Friday. Dow Diamond says bienvenidos to a food truck festival. After the game, Los Pepinillos light up the night with a fireworks Loontacular, powered by Farm Bureau Insurance. Win big with our 3Ks to win 10K contest. Los Pepinillos, Friday night at Dow Diamond. Vamos, Picantes!
For over 20 years, you have known Sunrise Awnings as the home of the shady deal. Living in Michigan, we are always looking for ways to spend more time outdoors, especially now. Sunrise Awnings provides homeowners that opportunity to expand their living space with Sunsetter or Summer Space Awnings. Enjoy family and friends, protected from the sun, rain, and heat. Call Sunrise Awnings today to take advantage of that outdoor lifestyle you enjoy. Check us out at sunriseawnings.net. Get the most out of your patio and deck with a retractable awning from Sunrise Awnings.
I always wanted to learn Spanish, but I never thought I'd have the time. Then I discovered Babbel.
Babbel's lessons are fun. They only take like 10 or 15 minutes, and in 3 weeks, presto, you're speaking another language. Like magic.
I love that Babbel's lessons aren't just robots talking. They're voiced by native speakers, so you get the pronunciation just right. And they're designed by real language teachers, so you learn how to have real-world conversations, things you'll actually use.
3 weeks. It's incredible. After 3 weeks, I'm on vacation in Paris, having a conversation in French.
There's all kinds of ways to learn. Use Babbel's podcasts or games or videos. You can even join live classes with a language teacher.
If you want to learn a language, there's no faster, easier, better way than
Babbel.
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 Babbel. Évidemment.
Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
Live from the 100.5 and 790 newsroom, this is WSGW News.
Partly cloudy skies and 72 degrees at 10:05. Good morning, I'm Mike Percha. More details are emerging in one of last Thursday's homicides in Saginaw. 2 people were killed in separate shootings in the middle of the afternoon. We've learned the first victim is 27-year-old Jessica Gomez, who was driving to a store on Bond Street with friends. A 23-year-old woman in the car was injured in the shooting, while a male passenger was uninjured. Police say the shots likely came from another vehicle. Gomez was also 6 months pregnant with a baby boy who did not survive the shooting. She's the second pregnant woman to be killed in a Saginaw shooting within 5 days. On June 5th, 24-year-old Laura Buendia was murdered after a family barbecue. She was 29 weeks pregnant, though her baby girl, Rosalina, survived. Gomez was also mother to 2 other young children. State police have released photos of a vehicle believed to be involved in the shooting, a white 4-door Ford hatchback with no license plates. The vehicle was later discovered to have been set on fire. Anyone with information about the shooting or the second shooting last Thursday, which took the life of 75-year-old Philip Lipscomb in the area of Marquette and Maple Streets, can call the Saginaw Major Crimes Unit or leave an anonymous tip with Crime Stoppers at 1-800-422-JAIL. The 2-day conference called the International One Water Gathering starts Friday at Alpena Community College to share ideas and solutions toward a sustainable future for Lake Huron. Lake Huron conservation-focused topics will cover land and water, youth engagement and education, green infrastructure, and stormwater, project funding streams, and more. Attending the conference will be American, Canadian, First Nations, and tribal partners, municipal leaders, watershed groups, and others. Among the many sponsors are the Americana Foundation, Bay Area Community Foundation, Bruce Power, Consumers Energy, Michigan Department of Environment, Great Lakes and Energy, and the Saginaw Bay Watershed Initiative Network. WSGW News Time, 10:07.
It's Cheese Town time in Pinconning. We've got a full weekend of events from the Mac and Cheese Cook-Off on Friday to the big fireworks show on Saturday night. The Steve Javitsky Band will be playing polka music on the Pinconning stage in the beer tent from 7 to 11 on the 17th. And Saturday the 18th, the beer tent opens at 3:30 with headliners the Sinclairs taking the stage at 8. Click on the link on our website, PinconningLinwood.com, or the Pinconning-Linwood Area Chamber of Commerce on Facebook for the details on how to register. We'll see you this summer in Pinconning.
Get ready to go off-road and get to Saginaw Eagles Landing for the Winner Takes All giveaway. One lucky player will drive off with a new truck, a toy hauler trailer, and UTV side-by-side. Drawings are every Saturday in June. 6 winners each night get $1,000 cash and 1,000 bonus entries into the grand prize drawing on June 25th. It's Winner Takes All, only at Saginaw Eagles Landing Casino and Hotel. Real fun, real friendly. Visit Saginaw-EaglesLanding.com for complete rules and details.
WSGW News Time, 10:08. The weather forecast is coming up. Authorities have recovered a small alligator following a high-speed car chase involving a Metro Detroit man in northwestern Michigan. The Lake County Sheriff's Department says the vehicle's driver refused to stop when a sergeant attempted to pull him over around 11 p.m. Saturday for speeding along US 10. Other sheriff's deputies and officers with the DNR joined the pursuit, which ended when the vehicle they were chasing got stuck between 2 trees in Weber Township south of Traverse City. Deputies caught the alligator outside the vehicle. A 40-year-old man from Oak Park was arrested and faces charges. It's a heat wave taking aim at Michigan this week, so some Metro Detroit school districts will be closed as the scorching temperatures settled in. Here's Jim Matthews with this report.
The blistering conditions this week could set new records, as AccuWeather says Wednesday's heat index is expected to soar above 100 degrees, and that's prompting some local schools to take action. Dearborn Schools announcing all public schools will be closed for tomorrow, and Detroit Public Schools will be dismissing students 3 hours earlier, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. The buses in Detroit will run their regular routes, but with an early dismissal. Also, principals at the Detroit schools will determine if after-school events and activities will go on a schedule depending on how hot it gets. And Livonia Public Schools will be dismissing students early tomorrow as well. Jim Matthews, Michigan News Network.
The Michigan Poverty Task Force released its second set of policy recommendations to continue the state's efforts to lift struggling Michiganders out of poverty and improve their health outcomes. The task force will release the report today at the Safety Net store in Clio, which serves the community with food insecurity needs. Among the report's 29 recommendations are strategies to address the lack of access to quality childcare, affordable housing options, and broadband internet access in rural areas. Michiganders struggle to find access to childcare, affordable housing options, broadband access, and utilizing earned income tax credits, which burdens family and affects health. WSGW News Time 1010. I'm Mike Percha.
Here's your WSGW weatherology forecast. Mostly sunny skies here for today. We'll see high into the mid-80s. Winds out of the southeast around 5 to 10 miles per hour. Then for tonight, the cloudy skies develop a low around 74. Wednesday, mostly sunny, high around 97 and rather windy. Then by Thursday, a slight chance for rain showers early on. Skies will become mostly sunny, a high of 87. Friday, sunshine, high around 80 degrees. Then by Saturday, plenty of blue skies and sun with a high of 72. Sunday, mostly sunny and a high around 76. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki with the WSGW weatherology forecast. Currently, it's 72.
Now, the only local radio talk show offering you the chance to ask your questions and express your opinions. From around your block to around the world, The Art Lewis Show is on 100.5 and 790 WSGW and online, WSGW.com.
Art Lewis Show, indeed, but not with Art. Art is off today. He's back tomorrow. This is one day off. He's actually involved in a station representation with the Rescue Ministries of Mid-Michigan, whom we have a great relationship with. Some fundraising going on with a special golf outing, and Art and Dave, too, also teamed up to represent and partake in said golf outing. So Charlie here in for Art, 989-752-6111, 989-752-6111. As the Art Lewis Show continues this hour, we're going open line, so you can call right now if you'd like. And you have something to say, get off your mind. Get off your chest, I guess, something on your mind, get off your chest. That's what we're here for, 989-752-6111. Next hour, we'll be talking with Dr. Robert Lee, a board-certified dermatologist from McLaren Bay Region. Skin cancer, the topic, including an upcoming skin cancer screening event that McLaren Bay Region is going to be hosting. So that is what's on the agenda. Of course, Terry Henney's Farm Show, too. In the meantime, though, we continue, and we thank you for listening in. And for those who are participating with your phone calls, we appreciate that, too, as we are on WSGW. 10:13 is the time. We'll keep you informed, too, not just here within the each hour, as we're facing the temperature that's going up. And I know that we'll all be okay, because we'll all make sure that we do what's necessary to make sure we don't get too overheated. It's not like we haven't dealt with this kind of stuff before. We're very capable of dealing with hot. We're very capable of dealing with cold. This is Michigan. We get it all, to the extremes of the hot, to the extremes of the cold, to everything in between. So we'll be okay. We'll be okay. All right. Let's take this call from Al, calling in out of Midland. Al, thanks for holding on. Good morning to you, sir.
Hey, good morning, Charlie. One of my most favorite people to talk to on the road.
Oh, my gosh.
One of these days I got to get over when you're doing the show with Mike Avery and get my sign over there with Charlie.
I think he would laugh. It would be.
He probably would.
Yeah, I think so.
Hey, anyhow, this idiot Michael Moore was talking about people getting rid of their guns and going to get a dog for their protection. The criminal, the first thing he's going to shoot is the dog or any dogs that are available, and then you're going to be defenseless. And this thing on taking away the guns and limiting the magazine capacity of the bullet things. 3D printers can print magazines for guns that can snap in and out, and they can print hundreds of magazines that will hold hundreds and hundreds of rounds if they want. So that business of doing away with the magazines isn't going to help either.
That's interesting. I didn't realize. I guess I should have realized for everything that if 3D printers can build a house.
Sure. No, they've had some of them on TV already. They've shown some of the 3D printed magazines. So the fallacy of trying to take parts of the guns away, some of these 3D printers can print parts.
There's always a way around everything, isn't there?
Oh, sure there is. And I just look at that as all these idiots that want to take guns away, they aren't the sharpest tools in the shed. They really aren't. It shows how they don't look at the big picture. They just see a little focus point of they're looking at a gun and they want to take that part away or the gun away or whatever. And it's so narrow focused, they don't realize how stupid that is.
What is the big picture, though, Al? What is the big picture?
The big picture is there are so many ways to manufacture guns and make parts. You're going to create a cottage industry of tool people that are going to be out of work doing other things. They're going to be looking for things to make. Guess what they're going to make? Gun parts. There's a high profit in it.
No question that is, everything that seems to get banned or whatever the case might be, there's always someone who's going to find a way around that and get what they want. Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm. You're right. You're right, Charlie. Mm-hmm. It's just, I look at this as these people are not the sharpest tools in the shed. Every one of them that wants to do away with guns, including the congressmen and the senators, they're all going down. Even Biden, he doesn't realize how stupid this is.
Well, stay tuned. We're going to find out exactly what's going to.
Well, you have a nice morning there, Charlie.
The legislation that was passed, we'll see if that goes anywhere and what it might mean, and we'll go from there. Al, thanks for your call this morning. We appreciate that. Let's see here. We're going to take care of this call coming in. Let's see. Tim, I think. Let me check out this in order. Tim, I don't want to leave you hanging on longer than you had called in. We appreciate your patience. Tim from Hemlock. Good morning to you, sir. Oh, do I have Tim on? Oh, let me try this again. Tim, I'm sorry about that. I think I hit the wrong button. Now, Tim, do I still have you?
Oh, yeah, that's okay.
Fantastic. Thank you. I apologize.
I'm sitting here listening to the show. I wanted to make a couple of comments about the gentleman that called up about the FBI and the conspiracy stuff.
Oh, just before the news at 10 o'clock.
The FBI there.
Okay, just before the news at 10. Just before the news at 10 o'clock, we had that call.
Yeah, just before the news at 10. First of all, the FBI has a domestic terrorism unit. That's what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to be involved in that. Second, if they don't get there in time, then I guess they're negligent and didn't do their job. If they get there in time, then they must be part of the conspiracy. So I guess they must have dressed all these guys up from several different states, which means they're crossing state lines to commit an offense. Must have dressed them in the same uniforms, got them on the same U-Haul truck, and followed them right to the scene. I mean, to me, it just, that's their job. That's what the FBI do. But to claim that they set this thing up, I just take a real objection to that.
Okay.
The other thing with, go ahead.
No. I say, okay, go ahead.
The other thing with Barr and Barr's ink pen, and Barr said before he resigned that there wasn't any stolen election. There wasn't enough to show that the election would have been lost or would have been won by Trump. And he told that to Trump, and that's why he resigned. These are clips of what he is saying, and you would have to put words into his mouth to come up with the idea of watch his ink pen, because they're editing these things. And I want to say something else. Everyone they interviewed were either Republicans, high-level Republicans, working inside the Trump administration, working for Trump, hired on his campaign, or like that Republican attorney, or the gentleman from Fox who called the election for Biden in Arizona. So, I mean, if we're not going to believe the very people that are right around Trump in an investigation, they're right there talking. They've either come in voluntarily or they've been subpoenaed. I don't know how you ever come to a factual conclusion, because they're not Democrats talking. These are people working, and we're not done yet. We got 5 more sessions to listen to. Have an open mind, and but I don't know who else they could talk to.
I was going to say, at least though, Scott, who had called in, did say that was his conspiracy theory of the day, though, Tim. He did say that.
Yeah, I did hear that, and I appreciate him saying that. But I mean, you got to start thinking about some of these things in motion. I mean, all right, let's buy guys yellow pants. Let's get a U-Haul truck. Let's do this. Let's do that. We're a better nation than this, Charlie. We really are.
All right, Tim, I'll leave it there just because I have to take the break for this time out. More calls will be coming forth. Appreciate your holding on, and again, your patience there in Hemlock. Yeah, we do have more calls lined up. We'll come back with those calls next on the Art Lewis Show here. Charlie Farrard on WSGW.
Unlock your best lawn yet with innovative zero-turn mowers, lawn tractors, walk-behind mowers, and more at Wolfiles Ace Hardware, your locally owned Cub Cadet dealer. Like the Cub Cadet Ultima Series, zero-turn mowers that are engineered to give you the ultimate all-around mowing experience by delivering next-level comfort and premium cut quality, as well as superior speed and control. And only Wolfiles, your local dealer, can offer this level of strength and back it up with genuine parts, accessories, and trained service technicians to keep your equipment running strong. From barbecues to backyard batting practice, you'll love to lawn for years to come with the Cub Cadet residential mowers. For expert advice, superior service, and exceptional offers, visit Wolfiles Ace Hardware, 5818 State Street, Saginaw, where customer service still exists. Open 7 days.
It's the sound of a good deal. That's music to your ears.
Research shows listeners don't like it when ads interrupt their music. So to help you remember that Liberty Mutual customizes home insurance, we made this ad optional. If you want to skip this ad, remove your left earphone.
If you're missing this informative ad, you must love wasting your cash. Now it's all been said, so if that earphone was out, put it back in your head.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
I'm Neil Cavuto, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Stocks opened higher. Some optimism appears to have returned to Wall Street after Monday's sell-off. There is a glimmer of hope that prices at the wholesale level could be stabilizing slightly. The producer price index rose 0.8% in May, up 0.5 excluding food and energy. For the year ending in May, the PPI rose 10.8%. A very modest improvement. Oracle's upbeat earnings are creating some optimism for the tech sector. The software giant saw a major increase in demand for its cloud computing business. Coinbase Global, the crypto exchange, is cutting about 1,100 jobs as part of its restructuring. Cryptocurrency prices have been slumping this week, with Bitcoin falling today to the weakest level in a year and a half. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Ginny Cosola, invested in you.
Big news! Greta Van Susteren is hosting her new show, The Record with Greta Van Susteren. It's just launched on Newsmax. Each night at 6 p.m. Eastern, Greta is reporting the real news and without the media spin. She's smart, tough, and always fair. Find Greta on Newsmax, America's fastest-growing news channel. Millions have switched to Newsmax. Find out why. If your cable doesn't carry Newsmax, call them. Demand it. Make the switch today. Newsmax is real news for real people.
If you owe the IRS back taxes, then get ready to pay up. The IRS has giant private collection agencies actively tracking down folks who owe the IRS. So if you think dodging them was stressful in the past, it's going to get a whole lot tougher. Optima Tax Relief has this advice. Don't wait. Solve your tax problems now before it's too late. Optima Tax Relief works to stop the demand letters, stop the aggressive collection actions, and stop the IRS collectors from targeting you. Ask Optima about the Fresh Start Initiative, one of the biggest breaks the IRS IRS has ever offered. If you qualify, you could save thousands, and nobody knows this program better than they do. Optima is A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, and they get results, having resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. Get a fresh start. Call today for your free consultation.
Call 800-364-9188. 800-364-9188. 800-364-9188.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
Strike called. Fastball on the outer edge. 1-2-3, 96-mile-an-hour fastball. Second strikeout for Tarek Skubal.
The Tigers play 6:50 tonight on 790 News Radio WSGW.
All right, 1025 WSGW. Art Lewis Show. Tuesday edition, Charlie in for Art. Engaged in the open line portion of Art's show, 989-752-6111. And as we have a chance to call in, tell us what's on your mind, get something off your chest. Your opinion, your thoughts. That's what we'd like to hear. And we do so with more of the calls coming through right now. We're in Bay City. Vaughn, it's your turn. Thanks for holding on. Vaughn, good morning to you, sir.
Yes, so I'm a sort of a retired physician assistant. I hear you have Dr. Lee coming on after 11 o'clock.
Oh, really?
And so it's a very important topic right now. My wife just had some basal cell removed from her leg. Second time she's had it. They've been keeping an eye on her closely, so but she had to be a little more prone. But that's the mildest form of skin cancer. I'm not sure Dr. Lee will go over a lot of this stuff with you. And squamous cell and the melanoma being the worst part of it. So I'm sure he'll get those topics. I refer patients to him. And, he's been around a long time.
Well, fantastic. Yeah, that's the focus show after the news at 11 o'clock.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to my trip to Colorado here. Mr. Art Lewis set it all up, and then he decided not to go on the trip with us. But we won't hold that against him. He got it organized. So we're going very shortly here out to Colorado. So I'm sure we'll be out at some high altitudes and out in the sun, so we'll have to use our sun protection out there. It's an anniversary trip, 50th anniversary trip for me and my wife, so we're looking forward to it.
Oh, congratulations! What a special way to spend a 50th anniversary.
Yes, we made a couple other attempts earlier to go to different places, but the pandemic sort of shut those down. So this is staying in country and hopefully be an enjoyable trip out there. Looks like a good time. So
hopefully some of the
Mr. Lewis for us. He's sending us off in a couple days here. So
hopefully some of the cooler weather moves in for you too. Is some of the hot weather that's there and to the south as well.
Yeah, and they had snow out there, I think 3 weeks ago out in the mountains. So that should be melting off by now with their 90-degree temperatures. But of course, we'll have that around here too. So,
that's for sure.
Just want to hear what Dr. Lee has to say.
Well, we appreciate that, Vaughn. Thank you. That's interesting.
Okay.
We'll wish you and your wife well on your trip, and again, wishing your wife well with dealing with she has. God knows, a mild form.
Yeah, healed up pretty good by now, so she's doing good. So, thank you.
All right, Vaughn, you have a good day now. Thanks for calling in. Nice to have some of those calls like that to come through this morning and let folks know what's happening in your lives here in the Great Lakes Bay region, because a lot of times what happens in some person's life, everyone else can relate to too, or a lot of other people can anyway. Paul from Saginaw, what's going on in your world, Paul? Good morning to you, sir.
Yeah, good morning, Charlie. I got two quick issues.
Yeah.
I'm going to come from a different angle on one of the issues on the gun control crisis here.
Oh, yeah.
I think we can solve this gun control crisis without legislation if everybody donates their AR-15 with the 30-round magazine to the people of the Ukraine who really desperately need weapons and ammunition and save the taxpayers a lot of money.
Yeah, that
probably won't work.
That's still going on.
Won't work it probably won't work because it's too simple, too easy, and it makes too much common sense. So,
like the suggestion.
Yeah, but here's issue 2. Sunday, the Republican female senator from Tennessee, Senator Marsha Blackburn, said that the Keystone Pipeline would have been finished a few months from now in the fall if Biden hadn't shut it down. And I'm sure that would have helped our gas prices if that thing would have been up and running and flowing. What do you think?
Well, I think anything would be helpful at this point. I tell you, Paul, I've looked into this issue so many different ways and so many different reasons why what's happening with gas prices. And wow, I wish there's not one definitive answer. I can tell you combination, like the pipeline you're talking about. Refinery capacity, which isn't up to where it should be. Still, I'm still reading about refineries still trying to recover from the closures that they had during the pandemic when the consumption of fuel was way down, and now they're trying to ramp back up and they can't. And then the world market, we know which is affected. You mentioned Ukraine and Russia. There's that effect. It's like a lot of different things. And the policies of government, they all come into play. So I'm sure Keystone would have helped. I just don't know how much. I'd like to be able to pinpoint percentages saying, boy, look how much this we're in the hole this much because of this reason. It's man, I tell you, you talk about, and then we heard where some people are talking about the oil companies. I think it was Senator Stabenow the other day out now accused of them of gouging. They're making record profits and we're not seeing any relief, and so there's gouging going on. If that's the case, then bust them. Gouging's illegal. So let somebody prosecute. But I don't think that's the case either. So
we've got our former governor Jennifer Granholm as Secretary of Energy leading the way. I'm not so sure that she's the right person to be in that job either. What do you think?
I couldn't comment on her qualifications for that particular office. I got to tell you that. I think a lot of times political appointees from any party and administration, it's who you know, what you know, and what kind of friends you are. And sometimes you can find yourself in a position that maybe you're not an expert at, but because you have ways of dealing with policy, you have ways of being able to represent, in this case, a particular administration the way they want to be represented. I mean, sometimes you can get jobs at whether you're qualified or not. And so I can't speak of the specifics on that. I mean, she had political qualifications here in the state. She dealt with energy, but as far as specific energy policy,
it's really something.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad we could clear it up for you, Paul.
All right. Later.
Thanks for calling. I don't have anything clear cut. I really don't. I mean, you get into these, and again, I go back to I've talked, one of my favorite analysts is Patrick DeHaan of Gas Buddy, because we talk about Gas Buddy all the time, and he's become somewhat of a go-to person. I don't perceive him to have any kind of particular political agenda. I find him to be very knowledgeable. I haven't talked to him in a while. It's been probably a year and a half, maybe 2 years. Talking politics. In fact, I tell you when it was, now that I think about it, it had to be a couple of years ago. Remember when it was announced that this is 2019? I'm thinking it has to be right before the pandemic. When it was announced that the U.S. was quote unquote independent of foreign oil. We had become a nation where we had achieved oil freedom, if you will. We were exporting more than we were importing. And I was like, wow, for all the years that we've always heard that we're always importing all this oil just to keep us sufficient, we had finally become that nation where, wow, we were, oil independent. And there's a big hullabaloo made out of everything. And that was just a couple of years ago. Now look where we are today. Again, for a variety of reasons, but if we were there once, why can't we be there twice? And to get there again, how are we going to do that? Although, again, talking with Mr. DeHaan, he had said at that time, even though we were a nation that was in that situation, we had flipped the conversation, if you will. I remember he's still talking about how the fact that we still did do some oil imports. When I say, was it even from Russia and China? I mean, in ways that we didn't, why are we still importing oil if we're making so much more that we can export now? And then it gets into all the minutia. And that's a whole nother hour of conversation. Let's squeeze in your call, William from Bay City, because you've been hanging on for a while before we take our break. William, good morning. Thanks for holding on, sir. William, are
Good
you there?
morning.
There you are. Sure. What's going on, William?
If a 70-year-old man got in a car accident and killed somebody, should nobody 70 years old is allowed to drive a car anymore? See the comparison?
Okay.
If somebody kills somebody with a gun, there should be no guns allowed.
Mm-hmm. I understand what you're saying.
I mean, what if a billion Chinese invaded our country? We'd be like Ukraine with no weapons to defend our homes.
Yeah, at that point, you'd certainly wish you had something to defend yourself. I understand that. All right, William.
And Granholm, the reason why she got elected was get Michigan votes when he runs again, I think.
Well, there's always that thought, too, is there's some kind of political weight that a particular person in an administration can carry for a state that you're interested, There's always that possibility.
And the reason why I didn't have any proof for it because the judges here in Michigan would not allow them to investigate the cheating.
All right, William, we appreciate your phone call. We got to leave it there because we do have that break going on WSW and the Art Lewis Show. More calls will be coming up.
Kick off summer with this free community event, Concert for a Cause. Join Saginaw's own Cherie Williams and special guest Jam. There'll be food trucks, family games, vendors, and more. Bring your lawn chair, dancing shoes, and don't forget your friends. The free community event features world-class music and family fun activities for all. This event starts at 5:30 on Thursday, June 16th in the Y Courtyard overlooking the Saginaw River and benefits the Eastside Soup Kitchen. The YMCA of Saginaw, strengthening your community for 154 years.
It's one of Detroit's great annual traditions.
Thank you for joining us as we pay tribute to some of the game's great pioneers.
Don't miss the Negro Leagues tribute game Saturday, June 18th when the Tigers host the Rangers. Come early for a special pregame ceremony celebrating former Negro League players. Then watch the Tigers take the field in the classic uniforms of the Detroit Stars. Plus, the first 10,000 fans get their own replica Detroit Stars jersey, courtesy of Comerica Bank. It's the Negro Leagues tribute game Saturday, June 18th at 4:10 p.m. Presented by Comerica Bank. Go to tigers.com/tickets. Let's face it, credit cards are pretty much a necessity.
New tires for the car? Here's my card.
I order takeout, use my card. And most of us just accept the high interest rates credit cards charge as a necessary evil.
What are you going to do?
Get a low fixed rate credit card consolidation loan from Lightstream from $5,000 to $100,000 and pay off those credit card balances. Apply online and you could get your money as soon as the day you apply. The average credit card company charges over 19% APR. But with Lightstream, you can get a fixed rate as low as 5.73% APR with autopay and excellent credit.
Now I can pay off my high-interest credit cards and save money with a much lower rate.
Apply today at lightstream.com/radio and get an additional interest rate discount. That's lightstream.com/radio. Lightstream.com/radio.
Subject to credit approval. Rates range from 5.73% APR to 19.99% APR and includes 0.5% autopay discount. Lowest rate requires excellent credit. Terms and conditions apply and offers are subject to change without notice. Visit lightstream.com/radio for more information.
And Doug. Chances are you're jamming in your car right now. And since Liberty Mutual customizes car insurance so you only pay for what you need, Limu and I are going to show you some safe car dance moves. Hit it. Everybody, check your blind spots real quick. Now hands on the wheel. Put them 10 and 2 and move your head like a bird do. Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
There's never any FOMO with the iHeartRadio app. You won't ever have to miss out on your favorite shows and contests with this radio station again. Radio 24/7, 365. We're here when you want us. Stay connected and listen anywhere when you download the free iHeartRadio app.
These days, it's getting harder and harder to find savings. But you may have more cash than you realize in your home's equity. Unlock it today with a cash-out refinance from Rocket Mortgage. In the last year, average home values have gone up nearly 20%. That means you could unlock thousands of dollars from your home. And with Rocket Mortgage, you could get all that cash in as little as 3 weeks. Put your hard-earned money to work. Pay down high-interest debt and combine your balances into one simple, low monthly payment. Now is your perfect opportunity to take control of your financial future. So what are you waiting for? When you want to consolidate debt and simplify your finances, Rocket can. Call 8338-ROCKET today or go to rocketmortgage.com to get started. That's 8338-ROCKET or go to rocketmortgage.com. Rocket. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender licensed in all 50 states. NMLSconsumeraccess.org number 3030. Call 800-490-1233 for disclosures and cost information.
RocketGrabPlus.com. Why would you pay full price when you know that you can save money at RocketGrabPlus.com? Check out our deals going on right now from Applied Training, Style Encore, Frankenmuth Aerial Park, JB's Market, 120 Fitness, and more. Half off? Yeah, it's true. And it's all at RocketGrabPlus.com. RocketGrabPlus.com.
Thank you for being with 100.5 and 790 News Radio WSGW in the premier kitchen and bath gallery showroom and design center studios.
All right, 1040 WSW, Art Lewis Show. Charlie for Art this morning. Thank you for being on. 989-752-6111. If you want to be on for the open line, as we say, this is a free speech, your chance to call in, voice opinions, concern, thoughts. That's what we do with you. We thank you for doing it with us. Freeland is the destination here, and I think, John, we've got you all set and punched in and ready to go. Hey, John, thanks for
good morning, Charlie. Yeah, good morning, Charlie.
What's up?
Hey, I just got a question on this energy pickle that we find ourselves in. It's your 10 o'clock hour, your news, national news stated that our president was going to go to Saudi Arabia, and part of his agenda was to see about increasing oil production for us. And that would be, Charlie, how foolish do you have to be to see any sense in that?
Yeah.
I mean, come on. Charlie, you're a smart guy. If you can't see through that, I'm not sure how you found the station today. I'm sorry. It's ludicrousy. It just, they are destroying this country. Everything that everyone fought hard for and died for. And it just, because in the name of this Green Deal, and boy, look at the carbon footprint that all our not friends, let's just say they're not our friends that are emitting in the atmosphere, and here we're forced to watch what we're doing, and we could extract oil a lot cleaner and cheaper and everything than the way these other countries are, but no.
I think those have been the claims that have been going on for years, is that or a lot of facts have shown for years, not just a claim, is that our ability to produce clean energy, clean anything in a lot of ways. It's not perfect, but it's a lot better than, as you talked about, some other countries that don't live by the same standards that we do. Even some of the international standards sometimes that we adhere to.
Yeah. Yep. I don't know. I sure hope come November that this country will wake up and realize what's going on here before it gets so far away that we can't draw it back, because we're slipping pretty fast, Charlie. I hate to say it. I love this country, but man, oh man, we got some problems for sure. Hopefully we can get through them.
We will, John. We will.
Yeah, we have to. We have to. And I pray that we do. All right, Charlie. Thank you.
Thanks for calling. Appreciate that. John from Freeland. And I say that confidently that, we do have problems, and we will. Because ever since 1776, the Declaration of Independence, we've got 200 plus years. I mean, we're almost at the, going to be the 250th coming up real soon. We are a nation that has survived all our problems, all our scandals. I know there are those who right now think that this is by far the worst time we have ever lived in for any number of reasons. And we can use the past two presidents as those reasons. Something that President Trump was the worst ever, destroyed this nation. We know what's going on with all the conversations. And Now with President Biden, that, oh my gosh, this will never recover. Well, those who have longer memories can probably cite some of the same things said about other presidents in our nation's history. And even if it wasn't presidential, just times that we were going through that we thought we'd never recover. We'd never be able to go forth into the future. That this is it. This is the end. The world is going to stop ceasing to exist as we know it. There have been a lot of predictions that way from people who thought because of the ways that this world is being populated and by the way that some of the pollutants and such that were being used for our lifestyle, we have found ways to improve. We have found ways to clean ourselves up. Again, we're not perfect, never will be, never claim to be. And we continue to survive and find our ways being better. Doesn't happen overnight. Might be a small step. Sometimes it's 2 steps forward and a step back. Sometimes it might be 2 steps back to go to that step forward. I don't know. But in more short lifetime, I've lived long enough to think that, I've seen quite a few things that I thought were, wow, how are we ever going to recover? Or, man, is this just leading us down to that road where we don't want to go, that is just so dark that there'll never be ever any daylight again. Think of the worst case scenarios. And yet, this nation continues to survive. And I'm confident it always will. And again, just going through the history of what you know from your life, to the history of what your grandparents and great-great-grandparents went through, and maybe some of the stories you remember. All the way back to the beginnings. You can take it beyond the beginnings of this country. You can go back to the beginnings of this world and things that have happened through history. That how do we find ourselves still alive and this earth is still livable in 2022? And yet, here we are. So I'm confident. Delmar in Saginaw, let's get you going here before our next break that we got to take here. Delmar, thanks for holding on. Good morning to you, sir.
Yeah, just a couple of facts for some of your viewers that don't read anything, don't read the Wall Street Journal. The Biden administration gave out 3,000 drilling permits so far in his first year, in 1 year. That's more than Trump ever gave out in 4 years. Only 128 are being activated right now. About a year and a half ago, I was on the Art Lewis show predicting the high cost of oil and the high price of gasoline. Of course, the Ukraine thing didn't affect things as much, but it doubled the price of a barrel of oil about 1 minute after Russia went into the Ukraine. About a year ago on the Art Lewis show, if he ever reads the Wall Street Journal, he tells me he gets it. The oil companies were going to collude, and they're trying to investigate this, about creating their own demand by cutting back the supply, because they know electric vehicles are going to put them out of business within another couple more years. Every year, there's more and more and more electric vehicles. They don't use gas and oil. That's where their biggest profit comes from. And that was an article that was in the Wall Street Journal written by many experts in the oil industry. So people complaining about the price of oil and gas has nothing to do with the Republican president, has nothing to do with the Democratic president. It has to do with the greed of these oil companies right now and knowing they're trying to get as much as they can.
Well, I go back to saying, boy, if they're investigating collusion and can prove it, that would be one of the biggest stories.
Yeah, they intentionally cut back on demand. At the same time, so did Saudi Arabia. Cut back on supply to create their own demand. Even Saudi Arabia electric vehicles.
Yeah, Saudi Arabia is, we know the Saudis have been doing that for a long time, trying to create that. So,
all the United States companies do that. One more thing for you.
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
Of all the presidents who put into law the most gun rights, a law that you could carry your concealed weapon on any Amtrak train, any ferry system that was subsidized by the U.S. government. You could carry your handgun or rifle into any national forest, any national park. Just a hint for you, it wasn't a Republican president. So for these people that are afraid that we're taking away your guns, tell them to try to read something once in a while.
All right, Delmar, we appreciate those comments. We got to take our break. If not, we're going to be way behind. So we'll leave your call there, and thank you for calling in here on the Art Lewis Show. Charlie and Ferrard on WSGW.
We're proud to make Pioneer Sugar for you and your family. Proud to be found in your kitchen, the heart of your home. And it doesn't really matter what you make with Pioneer Sugar, whether it's with our granulated white, light brown, or soft confectioners. It's the memories you'll make using it that will matter the most. Pioneer Sugar, pure and all natural, made from sugar beet grown right here. What could be sweeter than that?
Parents, it's time to cross off life insurance from your to-do list. With Fabric, protecting your family with great term life insurance is easy, fast, all online, and affordable. Fabric's policies start at less than $1 a day. You could be approved on the spot with no health exam and no risk. Cancel anytime. Stop putting it off. Apply today at meetfabric.com/future. That's MEET fabric.com/future. Fabric Insurance Agency policies issued by Ventus Life. Not available in New York and Montana. Prices subject to underwriting and health questions.
TrackPhone wants to know, are you an influencer, a big live streamer? No? And guess what? You don't need an endless data plan. Get just the right amount of data with TrackPhone's new $40 unlimited talk and text smartphone plan. Now with 8 gigs of high-speed data and unlimited carryover on America's largest, most dependable network, now with 5G. Get the data you need at the price you want. TrackPhone Wireless. Now you're in control. Available at major retailers. 5G compatible device required. Actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary. See terms and conditions at trackphone.com.
Hey, got to take a moment to talk about Sanitary Mattress. You know, the factory and showroom at 5343 Janes Road in Saginaw, your local manufacturer of a product that is so important to one's everyday life. I mean, you spend over a third of your life in bed. You got to make sure that you have a quality night's sleep on a quality mattress. Your overall health can be so affected by your quality of sleep. And if it's a lack thereof, think about how that's going to affect you. Sanitary Mattress, since 1935. Again, your local manufacturer of mattresses, ready to serve you for mattresses that you need for your specifications. And whether it's a standard-sized mattress or maybe it's a specialty-sized mattress, depending on your lifestyle of what you engage, maybe in a cabin to the north or an RV or, well, whatever it might be, boat, that you need a specialty size, Sanitary Mattress can help you there too. Helping you directly, locally at 5343 Janes Road in Saginaw. Helping you online at sanitarymattress.com. And you can always call 989-753-1757. Yeah, you can go to the box stores, the big box stores, and buy off the shelf. But why do that when you can shop local? Sanitary Mattress, 5343 Janes Road in Saginaw.
This is what camping sounds like when you have sleep apnea and struggle with CPAP. And this is what camping sounds like when you have Inspire and don't need a CPAP. If you have sleep apnea and struggle with CPAP, Inspire could work for you. Inspire works inside the body and keeps you breathing normally and sleeping peacefully. No mask, no hose, just sleep. To learn more, visit inspiresleep.com.
Inspire is not for everyone. Talk to your doctor to see if it's right for you and review important safety information at inspiresleep.com.
WSGW is your station for the Tigers.
Slicing down the right field line. Fair ball into the corner. Baez will score. Haas around second. He's going to round second and head for third. Relay from the outfield from Biggio, not in time. Triple for Eric Haas.
Tigers Baseball, brought to you in part by Premier Kitchen and Bath Gallery, your auto owner's agents, including Buck Insurance Agency in Freeland, Rummel Agency in Saginaw, Frankenmuth, Caro, Vassar, Mayan Agency in Merrill. Your home for the Tigers is WSGW.
On the next Markley Van Camp and Robbins show, you need to know January 6th was important.
No, I don't. I've already made up my mind.
You need to change your mind.
Well, I'm not going to.
Markley, Van Camp, and Robbins. Weekdays at noon on 100.5 and 790. News Radio WSGW.
All right, 1054 WSGW. Got a few minutes left here. Thanks to all your calls and for those listening. Reminding me that as calls come through, yes, the differences of opinions and thoughts that we have on a variety of issues that we talk about, and that's what I appreciate. Didn't have a chance to get to this because of your calls, and your calls are always more important than what I might want to talk about, but I'm just going to give you a quick overview. Because I don't know where this is going to go, if it goes anywhere, but there's legislation introduced in the state of Michigan. This almost ties in with what Delmar was talking about, by the way, as far as he talking about the advancement of where we're going from where we are here, gasoline-powered engines and to electricity. From the Detroit News, there was an opinion column written by Chad Livingood, and he was talking about a state representative, Scott Van Singel from Grant, who has drafted legislation that would phase in a vehicle miles tax over time. And this is with the thought that electric vehicles will at some point, be the prominent. And so if we can't have a tax on a gallon of gasoline, that's going to provide funding, especially for, sources for fixing roads and things. How are we going to ensure? And this has been a question that's asked for a while with electric vehicles. How are you going to have a tax? And so his tax is for a push for miles driven. This specifically for electric vehicles, although some are saying that it's something that might be considered for all vehicles, whether it's electric or not. That instead of taxing it by the gallon, why not tax and make it a true user fee? Gasoline itself would be a user fee because you use a gallon of gasoline, you pay for it. But as more and more of the gasoline-powered engines are not on roadways into the future, why not just change everything over to you tax the vehicle for miles driven? And there's a lot of ways that they're talked about. I don't have time to get into it right now, but just something to consider, something that's been introduced in Lansing. Where it goes anyplace, I don't know. But it is certainly something that's going to have to be considered in the future, if not already in a lot of ways. In fact, the University of Michigan Flint economist is estimating here in the year of 2022 that Michigan's taxes on fuel could decline by $2 billion annually by 2050. So what is that, 28 years from now? Seems like a long time away, but as that transition continues to take place, there'll be that transition of the dollars that are not being made available because the tax on a gallon of gasoline, they're going to be going down. So what do we do about it? Is it something that we do right now, or do we wait for that moment in the future? Will it be too late then in the future that we need to tackle it right now? Food for thought, I guess. We'll be right back.
Research shows listeners don't like it when ads interrupt their music. So to help you remember that Liberty Mutual customizes home insurance, we made this ad optional. If you want to skip this ad, remove your left earphone.
If you're missing this informative ad, you must love wasting your cash. Now it's all been said, so if that earphone was out, put it back in your head.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Parents, it's time to cross off life insurance from your to-do list. With Fabric, protecting your family with great term life insurance is easy, fast, all online, and affordable. Fabric's policies start at less than $1 a day. You could be approved on the spot with no health exam and no risk. Cancel anytime. Stop putting it off. Apply today at meetfabric.com/future. That's MEET fabric.com/future. Fabric Insurance Agency policies issued by Vantis Life. Not available in New York and Montana. Price is subject to underwriting and health questions.
RocketGrabPlus.com. This week's deal on RocketGrabPlus.com is for Sullivan's Food and Spirits. For only $10, you are going to get a $20 gift certificate to spend at Sullivan's Food and Spirits. If you've already been to Sullivan's, you know how good their food is, but if you haven't, they have a great selection of burgers to choose from, delicious salads, as well as a variety of seafood items to try. Grab your voucher today and head to Sullivan's for dinner. And it's all at RocketGrabPlus.com.
RocketGrabPlus.com.
Wow, seconds away from the news at 11, and then focus following the news. We're focusing on skin cancer from McLaren Bay Region. Dr. Robert Lee, a certified dermatologist, talking to us about that, including a special free skin cancer screening event from McLaren Bay Region coming up soon. It's 11 o'clock.
From the Premier Kitchen and Bath Gallery Studios, WSGW, Saginaw, Bay City, Midland, WSGW-FM, Carlton.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by NHTSA.
I'm Peter King in Orlando. Wall Street investors appear to be walking on the proverbial eggshells today. The market's opened in positive territory. They're struggling to stay there, partly because of the uncertainty surrounding the Federal Reserve and an expected increase in interest rates to try to slow inflation. Investors may fear the worst. Here's CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger.
I don't think we're heading into a recession tomorrow. But we had a recent survey out by the Financial Times and the folks at the University of Chicago's Booth School, and they went to academic researchers. And 70% of them thought that we would be in some sort of recession in the United States within 18 months. And I think that that's fair to say that next year it does look like there's going to be a slowdown.
Now, the Dow is down 15, the NASDAQ is up 23, and S&P is up 2. The national average for gas now over $5 a gallon. President Biden will go to a region with lots of oil next month. He'll be visiting Israel and Saudi Arabia. CBS News White House correspondent Nancy Cordes.
The president over recent weeks kind of laying the groundwork for this trip, saying that he'll talk to anybody who can help the U.S. economically, and obviously Saudi Arabia and the surrounding countries have a great deal of oil.
We've got temperatures in the mid-80s here in Central Florida. That's not unusual, but what is? The 80 degrees we had 2 hours before sunrise this morning. We'll get close to triple-digit temps here today. You may feel the real thing in the Carolinas and from the Gulf to the Great Lakes. WCBS radio meteorologist Craig Allen.
The heat index may approach 105 to 110 degrees at times during the next couple afternoons, and nighttime temperatures may not get much below the 80-degree mark.
In Wyoming and Montana, water is the problem. Heavy flooding has shut down entrances to Yellowstone National Park in Wyoming. The water coming from Montana to the north. Local officials call it historic. Lee Cooper of Red Lodge, Montana, is one of hundreds of evacuees.
I just come from really tough, resilient people, and so we just kind of carry on. As I said, wait until I have to walk into my house and see what the damage is.
4 states are voting in primaries today. In South Carolina, 2 Republican representatives are challenged by candidates endorsed by Donald Trump. One incumbent voted to impeach him. The other criticized his conduct. The parent company of Instagram says it has new tools for parents to supervise how their children use the site. Instagram head Adam Mosseri.
And they can see how much time their teen spends on Instagram. They can set limits to that time. One new feature this week is that they can actually pick periods of the week where their child can't use Instagram. Maybe it's homework or school time.
This is CBS News.
Leaving a child in a hot vehicle can lead to their death very quickly. If you see a child left unattended, call 911. If the child looks unresponsive, do what it takes to get him or her out safely. Brought to you by NHTSA.
While you're comfortable inside your home or business, the weather takes a toll on your roof. Wind, rain, hail, UV rays, and the heat of the sun cause premature failure of your shingles. Everyone loves to save money. If you have an aging roof, don't spend a lot of money on replacement. Get a RoofMax shingle treatment and get some peace of mind. Get more life for less money. Guaranteed with RoofMax, a powerful fusion of science and nature. Call Ben today at 859-6751.
RocketGrabPlus.com.
Why would you pay full price when you know that you can save money at RocketGrabPlus.com? Check out our deals going on right now from Applied Training, Style Encore, Frankenmuth Aerial Park, JB's Market, 120 Fitness, and more. Half off? Yeah, it's true. And it's all at RocketGrabPlus.com.
RocketGrabPlus.com.
These days, it's getting harder and harder to find savings. But you may have more cash than you realize in your home's equity. Unlock it today with a cash-out refinance from Rocket Mortgage. In the last year, average home values have gone up nearly 20%. That means you could unlock thousands of dollars from your home. And with Rocket Mortgage, you could get all that cash in as little as 3 weeks. Put your hard-earned money to work. Pay down high-interest debt and combine your balances into one simple, low monthly payment. Now is your perfect opportunity to take control of your financial future. So what are you waiting for? When you want to consolidate debt and simplify your finances, Rocket can. Call 8338-ROCKET today or go to rocketmortgage.com to get started. That's 8338-ROCKET or go to rocketmortgage.com. Rocket. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender licensed in all 50 states and MLSConsumerAccess.org number 3030. Call 800-490-1233 for disclosures and cost information.
Live from the 100.5 and 790 newsroom, this is WSGW News.
Well, cloudy skies and 75 degrees at 11:05. Good morning, I'm Mike Perchup. A man driving an ORV in Midland County Sunday night is dead after hitting a deer. Sheriff Myron Green says the crash is still under investigation, but it appears the 56-year-old man from Jasper Township tried unsuccessfully to avoid hitting the deer. Instead, he went off the road and overturned in a ditch. The man was pronounced dead at the scene. Sheriff Green said he was not wearing a belt or a helmet. The crash happened around 10:30 Sunday night on West Shepherd Road, just west of South Lewis Road in Jasper Township. Extreme heat is expected in the next couple days, and the state police are warning Michigan residents to take precautions. The National Weather Service says dangerous record-setting heat, severe thunderstorms, and elevated to critical fire weather conditions are likely. Police remind residents to never leave children or pets in hot vehicles, as temperatures inside can exceed temperatures outside, resulting in death. People are encouraged to stay in cool, air-conditioned locations as much as possible. Anyone without air conditioning can check their communities to see if there are local cooling centers they can go to beat the heat. It's important to drink plenty of fluids, even if you don't feel thirsty. If going outside, limit your time as much as you can, and it is a good idea to wear sun protection like sunscreen, plus loose-fitting clothing to help stay cool. Check on neighbors, especially the elderly, to make sure they're okay. Saginaw's Alida E. Lutz VA Medical Center is hosting a farmers market on Tuesdays from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. starting a week from today and running through September 27th. The markets will be held on the front lawn of the main medical center. That will feature fresh produce, locally sourced honey, veteran handmade jewelry, candles, and more. A variety of food trucks will also be on site each week. VA dietitians can provide healthy teaching kitchen demonstrations on the first and third Tuesday of each month at 11:45 a.m. using the fresh market produce. WSGW News Time, 11:07.
This is Jason from Applied Training Solutions in the Midland Mall. We are the Midwest's premier self-defense academy. From our state-of-the-art digital firearm range to open-hand self-defense classes, we are building a safer community one student at a time. We offer concealed pistol license classes that combine both live fire and digital range training. Online at simurange.com and Facebook at ATS Midland. Applied Training Solutions, forward-thinking, on-target training.
Warmer weather is here, and associates in eye care want you to remember to wear sunglasses with UV protection. Most of us acquire 80% of our lifetime UV exposure before 18, so it's extremely important for children to have sunglasses with UV protection. Ultraviolet rays have harmful effects on the eyes that can lead to cataracts and macular degeneration. To make an appointment with Dr. Cox, Dr. Kazmarek, or Dr. Engel at their Saginaw or Hemlock locations, call 792-8686. Associates in eye care, caring for our patients as we would want to be treated.
WSGW News Time, 11:08. The weather forecast is coming up next. GM CEO Mary Barra says the computer chip shortage is easing, but improvements are going to be slow. Here's Autobeat reporter Jeff Gilberts.
Barra telling GM shareholders it's going to take an extended period of time to recharge their inventories, but the company has been able to get more chips and make their supplies go further.
The situation is improving, and we are expecting a 25 to 30% of volume growth in 2022 versus 2021.
Barra says long-term, they're finding new supplies of chips and new ways to use chips that leave the company less vulnerable to supply chain disruptions.
Poultry and waterfowl exhibitions and bird shows can resume in Michigan because the state has gone 30 days with no new cases of the highly pathogenic avian influenza. That's according to the director of MDARD, Gary McDowell. The statewide stop on such exhibitions has been lifted. State veterinarian Dr. Nora Wineland says even though the state has been able to reach this incredibly important benchmark, it does not mean the virus has left Michigan. Millions of people are still working from home, but for some, it's having a negative effect on their health. Here's health reporter Dr. Deanna Lights.
Henry Ford orthopedic and sports medicine surgeon Dr. T. Sean Lynch is seeing an increase in patients with hip, knee, and low back pain.
Most of the result from sitting in front of a computer for long periods of a time.
Heading to the office automatically gets your body moving more.
Commute routines and walking into and out of the office and perhaps, getting coffee or going out to lunch. Those breaks throughout the day allow for the body to reacclimate to a normal walking ability and normal stretching of the muscles around the hip and the core.
If you are working from home, Dr. Lynch advises setting a timer for every 30 to 45 minutes as a reminder to get up, move around, and stretch.
WSGW News Time 11:10. I'm Mike Percha.
Here's your WSGW weatherology forecast. Mostly sunny skies here for today. We'll see high into the mid-80s. Winds out of the southeast around 5 to 10 miles per hour. Then for tonight, the cloudy skies develop a low around 74. Wednesday, mostly sunny, high around 97 and rather windy. Then by Thursday, a slight chance for rain showers early on. Skies will become mostly sunny, a high of 87. Friday, sunshine, high around 80 degrees. Then by Saturday, plenty of blue skies and sun with a high of 72. Sunday, mostly sunny and a high around 76. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki with the WSGW weatherology forecast. Currently, it's 75.
Now, it's time to focus as WSGW presents the people, the places, the businesses, the culture, the area events and activities, all put into focus on 100.5 and 790 News Radio WSGW and online WSGW.com.
Well, good morning now, and the Focus Show, generally with Art Lewis, but Art is again off today. Art's partaking along with Dave Maurer in that golf outing for a fundraiser for the Rescue Ministries of Mid-Michigan. My name is Charlie. Happy to be on Focus today, focusing on skin cancer and a special free skin cancer screening event coming up. This is associated with McLaren Bay Region. We have a special guest with us this morning to cover this topic, and that would be our guest on our phone line right now from McLaren Bay Region, certified board certified dermatologist, I guess is the more appropriate way to say it. Dr. Robert Lee, we thank you for your time this morning, Doctor. How are you, sir?
Well, fine. On a nice sunny day, people get outside and enjoy themselves.
We indeed hope so. Of course, enjoying themselves safely, which we'll talk about. Doctor, as we get into this conversation regarding skin cancer, if I asked you kind of on an overall basis, is there a definition of skin cancer? Does it have to be exactly on the skin, or is it something that's a growth that's attached to the skin? Is there a clinical definition?
It's essentially a growth that occurs in the skin primarily, not spread from the skin, not spread from someplace else to the skin. That would be a metastatic cancer to the skin. That does not count. We're talking about essentially three different types of skin cancers that are on the skin. One is basal cell, second one is squamous cell, third one is melanoma, and there's a very rare one called Merkel cell. So essentially they originate in the skin.
And is, again, on an overall basis, I know it's very broad to ask this question, but I will just kind of get into this conversation we're having. If I were to ask, how does one get diagnosed with skin cancer? Can you point to specific reasons why? We talk about, I know being out in the sun is for reasons for that, certain types anyway. Are there ways to define the actual reasons why someone would acquire a skin cancer, be diagnosed with skin cancer?
Well, we don't expect people to make that diagnosis. So what they have to do is look for changes. Okay? Let's say they have a mole that has been there for quite a while, and all of a sudden they see a color change or an elevation, or is that itching? That's another reason to look. Another thing common, especially with basal cell carcinomas, are they're sort of fragile. So they say sort of bleed easy. You know, if you rub your face on your pillow, you may see blood on your pillow, which is not too common. So that is one thing they look for. So, or let's say they have a sore. Usually if you bump your knee or scratch your face, it's going to heal up in a short period of time. Let's say it stays there for months and months. It gives you an idea. It's not a scratch. It's not a something like that. I've had people come into the office say, I hit my head on a garage door 6 months ago and it hasn't healed. Well, if it hasn't healed, it tells you it's probably not just a scratch.
Dr. Lee again with McLaren Bay Region, board certified dermatologist. We're talking skin cancer. The prominence of skin cancer in our lives today. Do we have a statistic that shows us just how many times we have this diagnosis in the United States?
No, skin cancer is usually growth in older people. So let's say we see approximately 1 in 5 Americans will develop a skin cancer by age 70. And the majority of those are 50, 60, 70 or higher. So it's not a disease, generally speaking, of young people.
And of these skin cancers that are diagnosed, is there a range, I guess, of where you would say most of them are diagnosed and they're common and can be treated as best as possible? Or are we in a diagnosis situation where they're more advanced and we're having difficulties in that range of treatments?
Generally speaking, the number one skin cancer is a basal cell carcinoma. That's the one we see most of the time, okay? And the treatment of that is generally surgical. There can be different ways of surgery depending where the location of the lesion is and how big it is, but there are a couple of ways you can destroy it. Let's say you're an older person and you have a growth and you don't really care about having sort of a mark there. So you can actually do a very simple procedure. We call it curettment and cautery, and that's where we scrape it out. The reason for that is the tumor itself is soft, so we can pretty well tell where it ends, and then we finish it up with cautery. The other thing is surgery, and depending upon the age and the location, there are different ways of doing it. You could just cut it out and sort of guess where it is, and if it's still there, you can go back and take out more, or depending upon the location, you may want to do something that is more curable to the patient, where you take it off and have the tissue examined while you're still there, and then repair that defect, and that has a very low recurrence rate.
All right, so we've talked about being diagnosed. We talked about the prominence. Before we take our break here, and certainly look forward to talking about the opportunities for people to have a chance to get involved in your event for the skin cancer screening coming up. What do we do, doctor? If we were to ask the question, how do we prevent? How do we minimize maybe being one day affected with skin cancer?
There are 3 very important things to avoid skin cancer. First one is the sun. Second one's the sun, and the third one's the sun.
and the answer to that, of course, is when you say avoid, are there parameters?
Well, if you've got to work outside, then you don't have a big choice. So you better cover up and wear a sunscreen at least of a 30, and there are 4,000 different ones out there. And some people can tolerate certain ones better than the other. Part of this is just guesswork and see how it does. A lot of golfers don't like to put it on because it drips in their eyes and it burns it, so they switch around. There's also certain sunscreens we can use that don't have any chemicals in it that don't work quite as well, but they're very effective. And so, but a lot of this is the patient's personal way they like it feels and everything else when they like it looks. But there are 4,000, okay, and the cost can vary to $1.25 in a dollar store to $60, $70, and there's not a really big difference between those two.
Dr. Robert Lee, again from McLaren Bay Region, our board certified dermatologist. When we come back after this break, we're going to ask about some of the warning signs that might cause us to think that we are in a situation where maybe we need to be examined. And that would be a question too. If we're going to be examined, how often should we be examined? By who? Do you go straight to the dermatologist? Do you go to your family doctor? We'll get those questions coming up on the Focus Show here on WSTW when we return.
It's Cheese Town time in Pinconning. We've got a full weekend of events from the Mac and Cheese Cook-Off on Friday through the big fireworks show on Saturday night. The Steve Javitsky Band will be playing polka music on the Pincana stage in the beer tent from 7 to 11 on the 17th. And Saturday the 18th, the beer tent opens at 3:30 with headliners at Sinclair's taking the stage at 8. Click on the link on our website, PinconningLinwood.com, or the Pinconning Linwood Area Chamber of Commerce on Facebook for the details on how to register. We'll see you this summer in Pinconning.
A lot goes into keeping a precision operation moving. The inputs you choose have to deliver results. Delaro Complete Fungicide from Bayer offers unmatched consistency and the most complete disease control available. Your corn and soybeans are protected and yields higher even in unpredictable conditions. With Delaro Complete, you get results you can count on to help keep your precision operation running smoothly. Always read and follow label instructions. To learn more, visit delarocomplete.us today.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
You can unlock more cash than you realize from your home's equity with a cash out refinance today. In the last year, average home values have gone up nearly 20%. And with Rocket Mortgage, you can unlock thousands in less than 3 weeks. But you've got to act right now before rates go up. So when you're looking to unlock the cash in your home, Rocket can. Call 833-8ROCKET today or go to rocketmortgage.com to get started.
Rates current as of 12/12/21. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender license in all 50 states. NMLS-ConsumerAccess.org. Over 3030. Call 800-490-1233 for disclosures and cost information.
You are with WSGW in the premier kitchen and bath gallery showroom and design center studios.
It's the Focus Show on WSGW at 11:21, focusing this morning on skin cancer. And in just a moment, some special information coming forth about a free skin cancer screening event with McLaren Bay Region. We'll have that information for you coming up. The information we have for you this morning through board-certified dermatologist Dr. Robert Lee from McLaren Bay Region. Dr. Again, we appreciate your time. We are at home, and we are concerned that perhaps there might be something that we need to have examined. Do you, first of all, have tips on what we should be looking for ourselves when we're looking at our own bodies, and are the things that we would see that might give us an indication on our own, doctor?
Okay, we can start off with basal cells because the symptoms and signs are different with the different cancers, okay? So let's say you have basal cells. We talked about this before, but it's a sore, it starts bleeding. You didn't notice it before, but it's been around for a little while. So that is the tip-off to a basal cell. Not all basal cells bleed, but if you have a spot that bleeds, it points to basal cells. Next thing is squamous cell carcinoma, which is now becoming much more frequent. We treat it and seen than it used to be. These can grow very rapidly. Let's say you look at your hand and all of a sudden you got a bump there, and 2 weeks later the bump is bigger, and one of the tip-offs is it hurts. Okay? That's a squamous cell until proven otherwise. Third cancer we deal with is melanoma. And these can occur from moles, but most of them don't. Most of them just start by themselves. And there are several things you look for. Number one is asymmetry, which means if you draw a line down the middle of it, the right side doesn't match the left side. Next thing is border. Most moles are fairly distinct. They have a border that you can look at, and it's not choppy. And so if you have a border that really is not a definite thing, this makes you think about it. Next thing is color. Most people think melanomas are all black. Not true. Most melanomas have some variance of color to it. 3, diameter. If you got something as big as the head of a pin, you don't really have to worry about it. However, with a melanoma, if it's bigger than the head of an eraser and it's changed, you should do something about it. Third one is called evolution. I call it change. If you have a mole, you've had it for a long time, and all of a sudden you say, boy, that looks different. That's time to have it checked out. There's no symptoms with it. Occasionally you'll see itching, but that's about it. And it boils down to nobody's 100% right when they see melanomas, but they did studies between primary care physicians and dermatologists, blind studies with just showing people, and there was a vast difference between the skill of diagnosing it between primary care physicians and dermatologists.
You might have just answered my question, because I was going to ask then, if we are concerned, do we make that appointment with the family doctor, or should you go straight to the dermatologist? Because if it is a very serious nature of skin cancer, obviously you want that diagnosed properly right away.
Well, part of that depends upon the skill of not all primary care physicians are created equal, nor are dermatologists, nor is anybody else in this world. So you have certain doctors who are more interested in skin than others and have a greater chance of giving you the proper diagnosis. Then you have others who really, I'm treating the heart and I'm not paying attention to anything else, okay? And if you're lucky, they'll just say, okay, go see somebody.
We talk about going to go to the eye doctor a couple of times a year. You know, you visit your dentist a couple of times a year, visit your family physician at least once a year for your physical. It says for examinations of the specificities of the skin, doctor, are there recommendations of?
Well, nobody really knows. A lot of this based on what does the patient have. Let's say the patient has a family history of skin cancer, melanoma. They should be watched more carefully, especially if they have a bunch of lesions on them, okay? Somebody who really has had very little sun exposure and nothing growing, they don't need to be seen yearly, even though I've read things that they say see your dermatologist once a year. If you've got nothing and you continue having nothing, you tell them, see me if it changes, which is the important thing. Any change, you don't have to figure out what it is, but if something has changed and you're concerned about it, by all means. Now, I have a lot of people who continue to grow basal cells and continue to grow squamous cells, and we see them on a fairly frequent basis.
Coming up, I understand, Doctor, that you will, with McLaren Bay Region, be doing a free skin cancer screening event. Can you tell us about that, please?
And we've done this for about 30 years. It was started by the American Academy of Dermatology. And what we do is people have to register, they come in, and McLaren's done a great job with this over the years. They provide us nursing help, they provide us the rooms, so there's privacy. You're not really getting the whole world seeing what you have. You're in a separate room than everybody else, and you can show us whatever you want, okay? It's, some people have a very few spots, other people have a lot, but you have to understand this is a skin cancer screening clinic. This is not to tell them what to do. This is to tell them to go see somebody to take care of it or investigate it. But there's no therapy given at any of these examinations.
And how would our listeners, if they have an interest, find out more or get involved and participate?
Okay, they can call Bay Medical Center, and they sent me this thing, so I have to read that. It's Friday, June 24th, from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. at the Caramanos Cancer Institute in Bay City. That's called their West Campus. And there's a phone number for them. It's 1-877-411-2762 to make an appointment. And they say calling is the only way to register, so make sure you do that first.
All right. And again, this is June 24th, so that's 1 week from this Friday.
Correct.
And 1 till 4. Again, I want to make sure I have that number correct. You said 877-411-2762.
That is correct.
All right. Doctor, we appreciate your time today from McLaren Bay Region. Again, dermatologist Robert Lee, for your explanations and discussions on skin cancer and letting us know that McLaren Bay Region is hosting that special event. Thank you for your time, sir.
Well, thank you. Okay, bye.
On the Focus program this morning, skin cancer and the importance of it, what you need to know, and for my goodness, take advantage of that free skin cancer screening opportunity. 411-2762 with McLaren Bay Region, Friday, June 24th, 1 till 4 p.m. We'll be right back.
Coming to the Great Lakes Loons Saturday night.
I am Thor, son of Odin.
The Marvel Universe descends on Dow Diamond as the protector of Asgard greets fans for selfies and autographs during the game.
You should have gone for the head.
Bid on the Loons Thor-themed jerseys for your chance to take home a piece of baseball history.
Oh, for the head.
Tickets are selling fast.
Hey!
Get yours now at loons.com.
We know each other. She's a friend from work.
Defenders of the Diamond, Saturday night at Dow Diamond. Dive in. It's Loons baseball time.
Hello, I'm Shep.
And I'm Mark.
We're the friendly board-certified entomologists from Rose Pest Solutions.
Let's tackle some spider myths.
I've got one. Spiders will sneak up and bite you at night.
That's a myth. Spiders are not interested in having you as a midnight snack. Okay, I've got one. You swallow spiders while you're sleeping.
Myth. What spider would enter the snore hole of death? But here's a fact. Spiders can be hard to control.
So call the pros from Rose.
Call Rose Pest Solutions today.
800-966-ROSE.
All right, so we're out of here today on the Focus program. Charlie and for Art today. Art is back tomorrow here on WSGW. We make room for the Farm Show. That's next on WSGW.
We're proud to make Pioneer Sugar for you and your family. Proud to be found in your kitchen, the heart of your home. And it doesn't really matter what you make with Pioneer Sugar, whether it's with our granulated white, light brown, or soft confectioners. It's the memories you'll make using it that will matter the most. Pioneer Sugar, pure and all natural, made from sugar beets grown right here. What could be sweeter than that?
Finding great